Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, this is going to be a very quick, easy video. I'm going to show you how to do my favorite recipe for trout. Basically, I grew up eating trout this way. It was a recipe that was passed down from my grandpa down to my parents down to me. It's very sweet. You guys have heard of it. It's called candy trout or candy recipe, candy trout. You can do it with salmon the same way. Salmon is very similar to trout in taste, texture, and their buildup. So you can use recipes for both salmon and trout. This recipe is great for people who don't like fish taste. My wife isn't a huge fan of salmon. She hasn't really had a lot of trout eating, but she loves this recipe. So it's a very good sweet teriyaki flavor, and that's what I like to use is teriyaki and soy sauce. I'm going to show you guys how to mix the brine, because that's pretty much all you do is you brine the fish for a day, put it in the oven and bake it, come out, and it's just teriyaki, it's dry, it's flaky, it's really good. So we're going to go over that today. Alright guys, the first thing you're going to need is some trout. So actually I caught this trout last year, at the very end of last year, and it's been in my freezer this whole time. So what you're going to do, I have 2 fillets here, they're all clean, no bones. I'm going to descale your trout. So I'm going to take 1 fillet, lay it down in a glass bowl. You can use a bowl, you can use a pan, either way works. Once you lay it down like that, get it situated that way, you just let it sit, cover it, put it in the fridge for a day so the brine has a chance to get into the pores and really give that fish that flavor. And pretty much the rest is you make it the way you want to. You can make it as sweet as you want, or you don't have to make it sweet at all. So I have brown sugar, got some honey, teriyaki, soy sauce. Okay, so I have a half a cup of water, which is a good base. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to just kind of fool around with it. I'm not going to get into the whole teaspoon, tablespoon thing. But you can make it the way you want. You make it one way, you want to add more sweets next time, more sugar, or more honey. So for me, I'm just going to start mixing, okay? Nothing fancy here. You got your mixer, 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. The good thing about the sugar too is that once you're cooking the fish, you can always add more too on top. And then the garlic, salt, pepper, the classic fish toppings, that can get put in later, right before you put it inside the oven to bake. So teriyaki wise, I do heavy teriyaki, not as much soy sauce because I like the teriyaki sauce more. So you can just eyeball it. Like I said, I really like the teriyaki sauce, and for 2 fillets this size, you kind of want to get a good amount in there. Okay, and then soy sauce, not as much soy sauce. Okay, and then your honey, just to give it that little extra glaze. Also, same thing with the honey, you can always add more if you need more at the time of baking. So I'm going to go heavy on the brown sugar today. The brown sugar also gives the brine a little bit more texture, a little more thickness to it as well. It also depends on the size of your fillets too. Like if you have a big salmon fillet, I personally have never done this with salmon, but I know you can because I've had it before, but I've personally never done it. Sometimes those salmon fillets can get about this big, so you got to make sure the brine that you do covers that entire fillet. So I'm going to add a little more teriyaki sauce, add a little more soy sauce, and you just give it a good mix. You smell it. It smells balanced and good. You don't want to have too heavy soy sauce, too heavy teriyaki, unless you want to. A little bit more brown sugar there. Give it a good mixing. Okay guys, once you have your brine set up and you think you have enough, what you're going to do is you're going to look at your trout fillets and you're just going to pour it. Okay? Pour it nice and easy over the trout, like so. Make sure that if the trout is inside the brine, it's going to work. So like this piece down here, just mix it in a little bit. That's ready to go. So this will kind of get thick overnight as it gets cold. So now what we're going to do is put this in the fridge for about a day. And then once we get ready to bake it, we'll put it out, put it on some baking sheets, garlic, salt, pepper, boom, in the oven. So we'll check back in once we get to that step. Alright guys, so now that our trout has marinated for a day, a little over a day actually, we're gonna put it in the oven and bake it. So I preheated the oven to 400 degrees, lined my paper with olive oil, and we're also going to do white rice with pot stickers. So it's going to kind of be like an Asian flair with this trout. So we're going to put it on the tray, and then we're going to add salt, pepper, garlic, and then a little bit more brown sugar to just give it that extra glaze while it bakes in the oven. So we're going to just move this over real quick. Skin side down. Okay. So salt. Pepper. A little bit of garlic. I'm going to use my other hand because I don't want to ruin it. And then a bit more brown sugar to go on the top. And then I just like to use the back of my spoon to spread it around. And if you do it right, it should end up with a really nice glaze and a very sweet taste. Then you're going to cook it on 400 for about 15 minutes, and it should come out perfect. So now what we're going to do, check that out real quick. Nice glaze on it already. And that's going to go in the oven. And then timer, let's say about 15 minutes. You want to make sure your fish is cooked, and then if you take a fork to it, it flakes away. So now we just wait. Huh, Mr. Z? Yeah. I wonder if Dad's cooking in the kitchen. Alright, so should be about 15 minutes. Time is up. Just take a peek in here. You want to see a nice crust on these bad boys. That excess stuff you see is just the excess glaze hardening and cooking. So what we're going to do is pull this thing out and just check the inside of the thickest part of the fish. If it's flaky, we know it's done. Our rice is done, and our pot stickers look great. So now we just gotta pull it out and see what it looks like. Alright guys, so just did the check. Everything looks great. The inside of the fish is cooked completely. It's flaky. It's not too dry. So 15 minutes on 400. That's the game. If you guys want to take a look, this is what the thickest part of the fish looked like. So it's cooked completely, and it's just got this beautiful glaze on it. I mean, it just looks awesome. And again, this is a recipe I grew up eating. So we used to backstory. We used to fish up in Crowley Lake in Mammoth, if you guys are familiar with California fishing. And we'd come back, we'd catch our limit of trout. Everyone would catch limits. I mean, it's not like this anymore, unfortunately, but everyone would catch their limits, come back to the Airbnb, and cook this huge meal of this teriyaki trout, and it was just tasted so good. So I brought it back to my family, and hopefully we do this for generations to come because it's such a good recipe. Again, you can do it with salmon, you can do it with trout. Either way, it tastes very similar, and it's great. It's great for people who don't like the taste of fish normally. The fishiness goes away, and the sweetness comes in, and it's just perfect. My wife, again, loves this recipe, so we're going to make a plate, see what she thinks of it. Guys, stay tuned. So guys, that is the finished product of our dinner tonight. Rainbow trout, pot stickers, white rice. I'm going to bring in my wife, who I previously said isn't a huge fan of salmon tasting fish. Trout tastes a lot like salmon. And we're going to see what she thinks of this recipe, guys.
Hello.
Alright, so Lover, go and have a piece of that trout and tell her what you think.
Should I go? Does it matter what?
Yeah, let's go. That one will be a good piece. Honest opinion.
That's great. That's sweet. It's good.
Yeah.
But it's got that perfect, like not too much soy sauce, but it's perfect. Oh my gosh. Alright. I'm gonna have to try to enjoy this.
Yeah. So guys, like I said, simple, easy, very easy recipe to do for trout or salmon, whatever you guys want to do. Just takes a day to brine your fish and then put it in the oven 15 minutes at 400. And very simple, very easy. Like I said, I grew up eating this meal, and I'll keep feeding it to my kids and my wife forever. It's very nostalgic. It's funny how one bite can take you back to your childhood real quick. So we're going to enjoy this, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.